Hey guys, thanks for checking out this DM tips video for Phandelver and Below, the Shattered Obelisk, Chapter 6. There'll be spoilers here, so if you're a player in this, please come back after you play and let us know how it went. We're up to Chapter 6 here out of 8 chapters in the Shattered Obelisk, and the project lead for this one is Amanda Hammond. The plot for this one is leading up to this point. The party has recently defeated Ruxithid, who is a Sawplee goblin leader who is collecting fragments of a Netherese obelisk. There, the party learned that Ruxithid was acting at the behest of much more powerful overlords. They should have also discovered a map that Ruxithid had in his possession, which shows the locations of some remaining obelisk pieces. Further, at this point, some townspeople are still missing. You can see in the adventure in the intro part that there's about 11 townspeople still missing. The adventure will start off in Phandalin as the party returns, and they will note some strange goings on there, including some mutated plants and cows and people. They'll note the missing people still. They will run into some encounters locally where they encounter these things, and they can find a Dwarven Journal in one of those encounters, which will give some hints of the adventure ahead. The next part of the adventure takes the party to the location shown on the map. So here is a picture of the map that they can find in the previous part of the adventure, and it shows 3 locations: Talhundereth, the Crypt of Talhund, and Gibbet Crossing. All 3 of these are accessed through Talhundereth, so I only have Talhundereth shown here on the regional map. You can see it's northeast of Phandalin, several days journey, and the party can explore that first. They can actually branch off right away and go to Gibbet Crossing, so any of these 3 can be kind of explored in the order the party explores them. But if they go in the order the adventure assumes, they'll go to Talhundereth first, find an obelisk piece there. They'll go to the Crypt of the Talhund, below Talhundereth, find another obelisk fragment there, and then they will explore Gibbet's Crossing and find the last fragment there. And in Gibbet's Crossing, they will run into a mind flayer by the name of Qunbrazel, who boasts of a ritual that's on the verge of being performed, and they'll find he has another map, which will lead to the next part of the adventure. They will not, however, have found any more missing townspeople, so that will still be a carrot for them to go chasing after. They will hopefully have learned about mind flayer fanatics lurking deeper underground in a place called Illithinoch, which is below Phandalin. So at the end of the adventure, the party will likely return from Talhundereth to Phandalin and prepare for the next session of the adventure. Let me zoom out here on the map, fit the whole map so you can see this whole adventure kind of laid out the way I did. So here in this map I have the encounters around Phandalin, the Handy Hammer Mine, and the old Dwarven home, and the cow. I have Talhundereth here. I have the Crypt of the Talhund here, and Gibbet Crossing to the right. You can see that these are very, very big maps. I think all these are done by Mike Schley. Very well drafted on the cartography. So levels for this adventure. The PCs, if you're assuming 5 characters, they will be level 7 at the start, and after they have at least one of the fragments of the obelisk, they could level up to level 8. So using some advice from the Sly Flourish website, I'd be looking for total CRs for the level 7 characters of about 18, and for the level 8 characters of about 20 to get to a deadly encounter. And let's look at the missions that they have here. So in Phandalin, I'll zoom in on the Phandalin part over here. There's a couple missions where they can go chasing after a missing boy who has kind of cornered some of these Encephalon gemules that are in a old Dwarven house. And there is some, there's an old cow encounter that the party can go after. And I combine these 2 together, and combining the 2 together is still a total CR of 14, so still not quite on the deadly threshold. Plus the party can rest here, so that's definitely something I had to combine together. And then the party can go after, in the 3rd mission, rescuing some miners. And there's a shambling mound there with some psionic powers that I got by eating one of the Sawplee goblins. Easy Encounter has written I'd make that 2 shambling mounds, still a total CR of just 10, even with both of them. So I would make those changes, and between these encounters, the party can find out some more information that'll help them in the Dwarven ruins. So now in the next part of the adventure, they'll come to Talhundereth. Here you can see on the map, they can branch off right away and go to Gibbet Crossing. I would definitely try to lure them forward. You know, the doorway into Talhundereth is open slightly. Make sure they hear some sounds or see some light or something to pull them into this part of the adventure. You don't want them to really get to the mind flayer first. Although if they do, they do. And they certainly have that opportunity. So this adventure, multiple paths through this adventure. This whole east wing could be kind of ignored, and they might not get to those parts. The West Wing here, there's one path through part of it, one path through here, and then they finally come to the Inn Temple where the obelisk fragment is. The encounters here I left as is, except for the very last encounter in Area 21. This one's the one that's got this awesome picture in the adventure of this this fragment of mind flayer, mind flayer elder brain that's been corrupted, and the obelisk fragment. So that's a beautiful looking picture, and it was kind of a letdown as far as how difficult the encounter would be as written, I think. This guy here is a CR10. Name of that thing is an encephalon cluster. And so I put in a couple of human mutates there, which kind of matches the picture. I put in one encephalon gemule kind of floating around already. This thing can spit out more during the encounter, but when you add all that together, that's a total CR of 20. So a good deadly encounter, a good climax encounter for the first part of the adventure. Then in the Crypt of the Talhund, this one was actually, and I rarely do this, overpowered, and I throttled it back. I would recommend throttling it back a little bit. So as the party comes into the first part of the crypt, there is a chance to release 4 revenants, and 4 revenants is a total CR 20, and they hit really hard for their CR too. So I would bring that down to just 2, total CR 10. They can chase the party through the adventure and provide some, wandering monsters and such during the encounters. So I'd take that down to 2. Then in area 15, there's a chance where you can actually get 6 of these things, total CR of 30. It would wipe out a party. I'd recommend drop that down to 3, and they can also wander a bit and split up and go different directions as they're released and let out. And then the very last part of the adventure is kind of a letdown where they find the obelisk fragment. Picture the obelisk fragment there. In an old wagon cart with some, in the pictures, some tracks. It looks like it's going into a mine, but it's just in a dead-end tunnel there. It'd be good to put maybe some more stuff behind that. But the encounter is pretty easy. It's only got 7 specters, and I would try to bring in some revenants or some ghosts or some wraiths or anything that might have been skipped. Bring that into the encounter, bring up the total CR to 20, make that a good climactic encounter for this part of the adventure. And then in the last part of the adventure, Gibbet's Crossing, the very end of it is really a letdown for a party that might be 8th level by this time. There's one mind flayer with a CR of 9, just one above the party, and a few of these Grimlocks who just have a CR 1/4. So I would recommend, and I didn't get a chance to put a better picture of some veteran Grimlocks. I put some veteran Grimlock bodyguards for that mind flayer, like kind of matching in the picture here. He's got some Grimlocks around him. Make them veterans, put a couple more Grimlocks in the adventure. Make sure the Grimlocks are watching carefully so far they can't surprise them if possible. And then that'll be a little bit more climactic encounter for that part of the adventure. So what would the pacing be for this? For us, it took 4 sessions, and we run pretty fast, so it might take more at a more relaxed pace. In session 1 was returning to Phandalin, and then beginning exploring the Talhundereth part of the adventure, this first map in the top center here. Session 2, we finished that. Session 3, we explored the Crypt of the Talhund, and Session 4, all of Gibbet Crossing. The maps for the adventure, I used the ones that were provided on D&D Beyond by Mike Schley, all great maps. I believe Lost Mines of Phandelver Chapter 6 will be also done by Heroic Maps, who do beautiful maps. I've used them for all the previous chapters of this, and so I'll put a link when that gets added into the description below. The images, all these images that I have scattered around the map basically come from the D&D Beyond adventure. If James RPG Art does any, I'll add them in the description below. For music, I have some suggestions. I'll put these in the description. For Return to Phandalin, the Country Village music, these are all tabletop audio. Talhundereth, Cave of Time, Forge of Fury, Dwarven City, at a very low level probably. And Ancient Artifact, anytime the party comes to any of the obelisks, the 3 different fragments of obelisks, definitely Ancient Artifact, that's a good one. And I have that playing right now. Let me turn that up so you can. So good alien / mysterious, strange music for running into the artifacts. Okay, and then for some of the unique tokens in the adventure, I will put a link to where I have those for the adventure. And there's no really special knowledge checks for this one that I like to impart that kind of ahead of time if I can for the party to use ahead of time. I didn't have any in this part of the adventure. And so just to reiterate, what the party wants to find by the end, or we want hopefully them to find by the end, is that they're are missing townsfolk still. There's mind flayer fanatics lurking deep underground in a place called Illithinoch below Phandelver, and they're preparing some sort of a ritual, which the party will want to stop. So there it is. There's Chapter 6 of Phandelver and Below. If you have any questions, let me know in the chat below, or if you have any comments or how it went, let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here for tips for Chapter 7.